Hello everyone! Today I would like to talk to you about the way we work with my team developing safety critical software for autonomous vehicles. For the past year and a half, we have been practicing mob programming while working remotely. We do this every day, the entire day, and it has been working very well for us. Specifically, we have observed an increase in the amount of work we deliver, knowledge sharing has vastly improved, we're able to focus more, and we have become more social. But what is mob programming? Traditionally, mob programming involves the entire team working on the same thing at the same time, in the same space, and on the same computer. There is more to it, of course, but these guidelines should give you the overall picture. While we do not follow them to the letter, we do go by the general mindset. Let's see how we do mob programming. To begin with, while the entire team does do mob programming, not everyone does it together. Specifically, we have mobs of 2 to 4 people. We also call these tracks or constellations. Each track works on the same thing, but in total the team works on 2 to 3 different tasks as we are 8 developers. We do not recommend mobs of more than 4 developers over long periods of time as it decreases engagement. We start each mob every morning with a Slack call and a shared screen session. This goes on until the end of the workday. One person is controlling the keyboard and shares their screen. We call them the driver, or more appropriately, the keyboard warrior. Unlike the more traditional setting, the keyboard warrior has the liberty to take initiative and control the flow. The rest of the members comment on what they see, providing corrections, feedback, or guidance. Their involvement varies from telling the keyboard warrior what to type to actively listening and intervening only when necessary. We strive to change the person on the keyboard every hour or when an equivalent work package is complete. We may not be in the same space, since we work almost 100% remotely. However, we do share the same screen, or rather, each mob does. In fact, we believe that this way of working would not be feasible if we were all sitting in an office, but more on that later. The tasks the team works on should be independent so that they don't block each other. That being said, the constellations are fluid and flexible. For example, when a particular expertise is needed in another mob, a member may jump between mobs, or the mobs may converge if a design session to determine the way forward is needed. The benefits of mob programming in our team were immediate and lasting. To begin with, our burn down charts drastically improved. We actually started delivering everything we had promised at the beginning of each sprint. Look, I'm not claiming that we always manage to deliver the sprint's content in its entirety. However, we have been since then considerably more consistent. The team is more focused. Fewer ongoing tasks mean team members experience fewer distractions. We have almost eliminated the need for internal meetings, as we are either already synced or the overhead of arranging such a meeting is minimal. Knowledge sharing is at an all-time high, and there are no silos within the team. Everyone works with everything that is within the team's responsibility. If we notice someone becoming over-specialized in a particular area, we try to give them an auxiliary role away from driving the development. Furthermore, pressure on individuals typically occurs when there is a dependency on particular team members. This bottleneck traditionally occurs due to specialized knowledge or just someone being unfortunate enough to take on a particular task of high importance. In our case, there is no longer a single person working on a task. It's either multiple individuals or even the entire team when necessary. At the same time, knowledge spreading increases the number of team members eligible to take on a task. Mob programming has given us the ability to get all hands on deck much easier. We are also very social. Being on the phone with multiple other team members allows us to constantly communicate and talk about far more than just work. Finally, practicing mob programming has allowed us to fully integrate team members that live abroad. We do not have an on-site and an off-site team. Everyone is working in the same way and hanging with everybody else. I would also argue that if a team wants to do mob programming 8 hours per day and 5 days per week, then doing it with members being physically present may be very exhausting. Mob programming remotely allows members to be more relaxed and can afford to occasionally take their attention away. However, I'm not going to sugarcoat mob programming. It is not for everyone. The pace can be too high or too slow depending on who is driving. This means that you have to be flexible enough to accommodate it. Additionally, there is a risk that some team members may be left behind or get bored and become disengaged. To tackle this, we try to keep constant communication between the mob members, speak up if someone cannot follow, or change the keyboard warrior often. Mob programming has introduced a certain extent of inflexibility in the way we work. One may not have imagined this, especially when working remotely, but there is not so much room for members to have their own schedules or pace. The mob calls start right after our morning stand-up meeting. We have our breaks together, we go to lunch at the same time, we continue after lunch and sign off at around 5 o'clock. If someone has a meeting and needs to temporarily depart from a mob, then they may need to put some extra effort to catch up. We recognize this risk and actively try to accommodate returning members. Moreover, we try to sync our schedules. However, ultimately, this is an inherent issue with mob programming. Keep in mind, if you adopt mob programming the way we have, working remotely may be your only choice. Mobbing physically together for the entire day and week may be very tiring. Next, there is little satisfaction in personally achieving something. You rarely get to exclusively start and finish something by yourself. The results are typically a collective effort. This means that you may miss some of the endorphin rushes you'd get after finishing a task and setting it to done. Finally, you do need members to be great team players and extroverts to some degree for this practice to work. They don't have to be the most social persons ever, but they do need to be able to engage in frequent and meaningful discussions with their peers. It's all about collaboration, and extroverts do facilitate the process. So, will this work for you? Maybe, but not necessarily. You can always try it out for a few days and see if it applies to your team and project. If it does work, then you will hopefully see improved burn down, sharper focus, quicker code reviews, and stronger team spirit. I have written an article about this on my blog with more details, so if you are interested, please check it out. You will find the link right below. Until next time, keep collaboration high and let's write some good code.